Panacea.
A remedy for all ills or difficulties. Remedy. Perfect solution. Cure. There is no single panacea for the problem of an economic downturn.
Vulnerable.
Susceptible to being attacked or damaged. Defenseless. Helpless. Unprotected. Women and children are the most vulnerable members of many societies.
Paradoxical.
Seemingly absurd or self-contradictory. Conflicting. Contradictory. Contrasting. It is paradoxical that some of the poorest people live in some of the richest areas.
Ubiquitous.
Existing or being everywhere at the same time. Worldwide. Prevalent. Universal. In recent times, racial discrimination has become ubiquitous all over the world.
Disseminate.
To spread information or ideas. Distribute. Propagate. Transmit. The media disseminated that information in a businesslike manner.
Tentative.
Something uncertain or subject to change. Uncertain. Probationary. Hesitant. A tentative decision has been taken, it is open to challenge and criticism.
Intriguing.
Capable of arousing interest or curiosity. Engaging. Compelling. Provocative. An intriguing book is both pleasant and informative at the same time.
Hedonistic.
Devoted to the pursuit of pleasure. Sensual. Profligate. Immoderate. People are becoming more and more materialistic and hedonistic.
Reluctant.
Not wanting to do something. Unwilling. Disinclined. Averse. Scientific associations have been reluctant to take corrective actions.
Persuasive.
Good at making people do what you want. Influential. Convincing. Believable. The author has been famous for persuasive colloquialisms in his writing.
Prejudice.
An unfair and unreasonable opinion. Unfairness. Discrimination. Injustice. People from ethnic minorities often face prejudice and discrimination.
Judicious.
Showing intelligence and good judgment. Prudent. Diplomatic. Considerate. The government made judicious use of the natural gas available to us.
Surrogate.
To put in the place of another. Substitute. Alternate. Replacement. She secretly became a surrogate to support her family with their debt.
Gullible.
Naive and easily deceived or tricked. Credulous. Trustful. Believing. The advertisement has aimed at gullible young girls worried about their weight.
Delegate.
One who officially represents others. Representative. Envoy. Agent. She delegated this work to the governor, who was a representative of the government.
Eliminate.
Completely remove or get rid of something. Remove. Oust. Banish. This procedure does not completely eliminate the possibility of road accidents.
Rarely.
On rare occasions, infrequently. Unusually. Seldom. Not often. In the summer the Academy will exhibit several portraits which are rarely seen.
Paucity.
Small amount that is not enough. Scarcity. Shortage. Dearth. However, there is a paucity of research on the issue of same-sex marriage.
Bigotry.
A person with strong, stubbornly held opinions. Bias. Intolerance. Prejudice. We all have the right to speak out against racism, bigotry, and hate speech.
Deploy.
To arrange in a position of readiness. Position. Employ. Organize. The decision was taken to deploy extra troops and more powerful weapons.
Embellish.
To make beautiful with ornamentation. Decorate. Ornament. Beautify. The chief guest in the event embellished his speech with a few quotations.
Unpredictable.
Likely to change suddenly. Uncertain. Doubtful. Unsure. Their actions since that time have been eccentric and unpredictable.
Innocent.
A person not guilty of a particular crime. Sinless. Righteous. Unblemished. Is there any acceptable evidence that she was innocent of the crime?
Adamant.
Not giving in easily, unyielding. Inflexible. Uncompromising. Stubborn. The authority was adamant in its determination to punish the corrupt officials.
Activate.
Make something active or operative. Stimulate. Prompt. Start. In certain circumstances, these symptoms could activate heart disease.
Requisite.
Needed for a particular purpose or result. Necessity. Requirement. Essential. Self-confidence is the first requisite to human greatness and success.
Thrive.
To grow in a strong, healthy way. Proper. Blossom. Progress. Indeed, art and fashion businesses thrive in France and elsewhere.
Intake.
Amount of something you eat, or take. Consumption. Load. Ingestion. Universities were ill-equipped to meet the massive intake of students.
Inference.
A conclusion reached by careful reasoning. Deduction. Assumption. Supposition. From her manner, we drew the inference that she was a narcissist.
Staple.
An important food that is eaten very often. Goods. Commodities. Products. Prices of staple foods such as wheat and vegetables have been increasing.
Safeguard.
To protect something from harm or destruction. Defense. Shield. Security. The new software system will safeguard the banks against fraud.
Precarious.
suggests both insecurity and uncertainty. Insecure. Dangerous. Unstable. Because of a lack of funding, the museum is in a precarious position.
Decorum.
Behavior that is socially correct and polite. Courtesy. Politeness. Modesty. They were treated with decorum and respected throughout the visit.
Volatile.
Changing easily from one mood to another. Inconstant. Changeable. Capricious. Daily commodities like food and fuel prices are volatile in a war situation.
Exposure.
State of being vulnerable or exposed. Uncovering. Disclosure. Revealing. Exposure to the sun too much can accelerate the aging process.
Veteran.
A person with long experience in a particular field. Skilled. Experienced. Master. One of my grandfathers was a veteran of the Second World War.
Negligible.
Small in amount to be important. Insignificant. Minor. Trivial. The landfill tax was introduced in 1992 but was a negligible amount.
Veto.
To prevent or forbid something to be done. Dismissal. Embargo. Objection. The President had veto power over any bill passed by Congress.
Eradicate.
To destroy or get rid of something completely. Obliterate. Abolish. Erase. The government's key target is to eradicate poverty in his country.
Redundant.
No longer needed or useful. Useless. Unnecessary. Unwanted. Employees who are made redundant get another job or become economically inactive.
Engulf.
Being completely surrounded or soaked. Devour. Overwhelm. Deluge. The fire spread quickly via stairways to engulf the whole building.
Liability.
The condition of being obliged by law. Responsibility. Duty. Onus. They do not accept liability for any damage caused by natural disasters.
Prevalent.
Existing commonly or happening frequently. Common. Widespread. Prevailing. These infectious diseases are more prevalent among newborn children.
Multitudinous.
Consists of many things or parts. Manifold. Numerous. Several. After the accident, her lifestyle has changed in multitudinous ways.
Malleable.
Easy to press into different shapes. Ductile. Moldable. Elastic. When she was young, she was so malleable, but now she's a stubborn lady.
Sporadic.
Not happening or appearing on a regular basis. Irregular. Occasional. Infrequent. There was a report of sporadic racial fighting in the streets of New York.
Apprehension.
Anticipation of adversity or misfortune. Concern. Nervousness. Anxiety. It's normal to feel a little apprehension before starting a new business.
Coherent.
Logically connected, consistent. Fathomable. Logical. Understandable. The government lacks a coherent economic policy during a recession.
Elevate.
To lift up or make higher. Heighten. Uplift. Advance. Their purpose is to elevate the problem to the top of government priorities.
Furtive.
Behaving secretly and often dishonestly. Covert. Clandestine. Surreptitious. There was something furtive about his behavior and the police immediately felt suspicious.
Debunk.
To show that something is not true. Challenge. Disprove. Invalidate. The research debunks the myth that men are better at math than women.
Eventually.
In the end, especially after a long delay. Finally. Ultimately. At last. The company eventually monopolized the entire advertising industry.
Salvage.
To save something valuable from damage. Recover. Restore. Get back. The family managed to salvage only a few of their belongings from the fire.
Permeate.
To pass through or spread through every part. Pervade. Saturate. Percolate. Bias against women permeates every level of our social system.
Halt.
Stop moving or doing something. Ending. Termination. Closure. Protection zones have been set up to halt the spread of potential disease.
Aquatic.
Growing, living, or found in water. Marine. Oceanic. Sea-dwelling. In recent years, some aquatic plants and animal species have become extinct.
Formula.
Plan or method for dealing with something. Theory. Principle. Equation. The goods are made using a secret formula that the company refuses to reveal.
Sustainable.
Existing or happening for a long time. Supportable. Maintainable. Defensible. The government should do more to promote sustainable agriculture.
Corroborate.
Support what someone says with evidence. Confirm. Reinforce. Validate. We have access to a wide range of documents that corroborated his theory.
Tenacious.
Determined to do something, and unwilling. Determined. Unyielding. Persistent. She is tenacious and will work hard and long to accomplish her dream.
Lucrative.
Producing much money or making a large profit. Profitable. Thriving. Worthwhile. They advised us to look abroad for more lucrative business ventures.
Commentary.
A spoken description of an event. Explanation. Critique. Report. The journalist gave a running commentary on what was happening in the street.
Implement.
To put a plan or system into operation. Execute. Apply. Materialize. The authority promised to implement a new system to control crime.
Enigma.
Something that is mysterious or puzzling. Mystery. Conundrum. Oddity. The media were full of stories about the enigma of the plane's disappearance.
Etiquette.
Rules of proper conduct, good manners. Decorum. Convention. Custom. In many societies, etiquette dictates that men cannot sit while women are standing.
Delicate.
Easily damaged or requires careful handling. Dainty. Elegant. Fine. Sometimes overcooking the vegetable destroys its wonderful delicate flavor.
Samba.
Conveying a feeling of deep seriousness and sadness. Miserable. Depressing. Bleak. Her expression was somber as she listened to the report of the accident.
Myriad.
Extremely great number of people or things. Innumerable. Numberless. Multiple. There are myriad ways in which global warming can jeopardize the environment.
Eligible.
A person or thing that is qualified or permitted. Qualified. Competent. Appropriate. Students on a part-time course are not eligible for university grants.
Fortune.
A large amount of money or assets. Wealth. Resources. Treasure. Fortune often rewards with interest those that have the patience to wait for it.
Obligation.
A legal or moral duty or responsibility. Liability. Duty. Commitment. We all have a moral obligation to protect animal environments.
Innate.
Existing in a person or animal from birth. Inborn. Inherent. Intrinsic. Children have an innate capacity to learn different languages at the same time.
Con artists.
Someone using tricks to get people's money. Hoaxers. Swindlers. Quacks. The lady is an outright con artist with a narcissistic personality disorder.
Confess.
To admit that you have done something wrong. Admit guilt. Accept blame. Reveal. Many Muslims regularly confess their guilty actions and thoughts to a priest.
Encroach.
Entrance upon another's territory or place. Intrude. Trespass. Invade. We should not allow our personal lives to encroach upon our professional lives.
Austere.
Severe or strict in manner or attitude. Rigorous. Harsh. Tough. The owner of the company was an austere man, very strict with his employees.
Vapid.
Lacking significance or liveliness. Boring. Lifeless. Tedious. Too much hard work can make a life vapid and kill the energy of life.
Pedestrians.
People who are walking instead of driving. Walkers. Strollers. Footgoers. In India, the death rate for pedestrians hit by cars is unacceptably high.
Extreme.
Existing to a very high degree. Intense. Severe. Utmost. The extreme penalty of the law in some nations is the death penalty.
Assembly.
A number of people gathered together. Connecting. Coupling. Building. The National Assembly has discussed the crisis in healthcare systems.
Voracious.
Wanting or devouring great quantities of things. Insatiable. Greedy. Gluttonous. She was a voracious reader with a compulsion to finish everything she started.
Succinct.
Expressed in a very short, but clear way. Concise. Brief. Laconic. The documentary gives a succinct account of ancient culture and its history.
Nostalgia.
A wishing for something that happened long ago. Reminiscence. Memory. Recollection. The images provoked strong surges of nostalgia for my school days.
Surveillance.
The careful watching of a person or place. Observation. Supervision. Inspection. The drug smuggler was arrested after being kept under constant surveillance.
Nurture.
Provide necessary care for someone or something. Raise. Nourish. Support. Parents always want to know the best way to nurture and raise their children.
Yield.
Produce useful information or products. Generate. Provide. Supply. Genetic research has only recently begun to yield important results.
Inundate.
To cover an area with a large amount of. Overflow. Submerge. Flood. The helpline was inundated with requests for information on the crash.
Forerunner.
Something that comes before another. Predecessor. Harbinger. Originator. The woman has been awarded as a forerunner of the modern women's movement.
Trigger.
Situation that causes something to start. Provoke. Initiate. Activate. The current economic downturn was triggered by a decline in consumer spending.
Utilities.
Public services such as gas, electricity, water, etc. Amenities. Facilities. Resources. During the flooding, water supplies and other public utilities were severely affected.
Impeccable.
In accordance with the highest standards. Perfect. Accurate. Flawless. The paintings of the art gallery have been drawn with impeccable designs.
Bilingual.
A person fluent in 2 languages. Polyglot. Multilingual. Fluent. In a newspaper article, the report proposed bilingual education in schools.